Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, we take a look at the crossover game Total War Warhammer in the Rundown.
Plus, Russell Crowe goes looking for water and his 3 missing sons in The Water Diviner.
This is not your world. Go home, Mr. Connor.
And then we have a spoiler-free review of Silicon Valley Season 2.
We will win this. Good. But we're gonna have to lawyer up.
Also coming up, Scott whips out his silly sausage and heads to Meatland. We investigate the age of Adeline and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. When I was a boy, I survived an accident that gave me special gifts. One of them is to bring you the rundown. The mean streets of Hell's Kitchen are going to be getting a little safer. Marvel and Netflix have officially renewed their hit series Daredevil for a second season. Yay! It will launch exclusively on the streaming service next year and continue the story of the blind superhero and lawyer Matt Murdock. Not everyone will be back behind the camera, though. Season 1 showrunner Stephen S. DeKnight will not be back, saying that he has prior commitments to other projects. A second season of Daredevil isn't the only new thing Marvel and Netflix have in the works. They're making 3 other superhero shows, which will also take place in Hell's Kitchen, culminating in the crossover miniseries, The Defenders. We'll let you know when more details on those come in. If you missed our review of Daredevil Season 1, you can get caught up on EPN.tv.
Your outfit kind of sucks, by the way. 2
of the biggest gaming franchises are joining forces. Sega has unveiled Total War Warhammer, a crossover that will take the strategy gameplay of the Total War series and bring it to the massive Warhammer universe for the first time. It promises to be huge, with epic battles featuring thousands of warriors, gigantic monsters, and magical powers, combined with empire building and statecraft. Since Warhammer and Total War both have large followings on the PC, this seems like a perfect match. There's no word yet on when Total War Warhammer will launch, but we do know that it will be the first game in a planned trilogy, so expect plenty more in the future. Very interesting, and here to help me discuss these big topics is my buddy Scott Jones. Total War and Warhammer.
Yeah.
They're trying to blend some worlds here. Do you think it's a good idea?
I do think it's an interesting idea. I mean, I think these games kind of occupy the same space as Dungeons and Dragons did when maybe we were kids.
Yeah.
They're super hardcore. It's a lifestyle for the people who are into these things. I've always admired both franchises. I don't know exactly what the fruits of this coupling are going to be between the two of them, but I'm excited to see it. I think there are a lot of very talented people, very intelligent people handling this. I mean, I'm just in awe of the developers and the publisher here.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens.
But it is going to be interesting to see because this is the Warhammer universe. They also own, Sega also owns Relic, which when it worked with THQ, used to make the Warhammer games, but they were the space-related games. So I'm excited about what Total War can bring to the table here. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be big. Anyways, another big news, too, of course, is Daredevil is renewed. That's not a big surprise, though, is it?
Not really. And I know you really personally enjoyed the first season.
Loved the first season.
Loved all of it.
Yes.
I just really started getting into it. You reviewed it with Marissa, so I'm still the noob when it comes to the Daredevil world on Netflix.
Are you doing a lot of this?
Ooh. Not really. I think I have a firmer, stronger stomach than either you two wimps do.
All right.
But I'm excited to see season 2. I don't know where it's going to go. I feel like there's so many little bits of plot that will get extrapolated further in the coming season. I mean, what are you most excited to see?
Well, I think what happens in season 2, and I think this was why they led with Daredevil. He's the strongest character in the Defenders kind of lineup that they have. And he kind of proves out this whole idea of making a grittier Marvel universe for us to enjoy. And now I think we're going to start to see some really cool cameos, just like they're doing on Arrow and Flash. We'll probably start to see some of the other Defenders pop in every once in a while, and then that will sort of...
So much good superhero television.
It's
you must be in heaven.
I am in heaven. I cannot believe how lucky we are with all of this
Less
stuff.
Don Draper, more superheroes.
All right, but we're going to switch topics now away from superheroes completely. We've got The Water Diviner, Russell Crowe's new movie. Let's take a look at that.
You can find water, but you can't even find your own children.
The Water Diviner is the story of Joshua Connor. He's an Australian farmer. He has 3 sons, and they go off to war, and they don't come back. The grief of that situation drives his wife to craziness, to madness, and she ends up killing herself. So Joshua is left with nothing. He makes a graveside promise to his wife that he'll go to the battlefields and try his best to retrieve the bones of his sons and bring them home and bury them next to her. I'll find them, love.
It's about the journey of a man trying to find his lost children. Stories going around the whole Anatolia and in Istanbul and the war zones, and they're traveling into them, but there are lots of references coming from the real events. It gives the idea that, oh, it's going to be really touching for also Turkish audience too.
This is not your world. Go home, Mr. Connor.
The character, Joshua Connor, he always has hope. I think it's about following your heart, believing in your intuition, and having hope, because even in the hardest time when everything's falling apart, like for example, Joshua loses everything he could live for, there's nothing else. He doesn't give up. He goes on a journey because there's something in his heart that's telling him that he should still explore. And in a way, finally, because he believes the whole way so strongly, he gets more than he even expected.
If this is your son, he was taken prisoner. He did not die here.
The story of the water diviner is very specifically Australian. Here's an Australian man who's looking for his Australian kids who went to a foreign country and died. However, having said that, it's just as much the story of Turkey and the Turkish perspective of this conflict. But having said that, there was a battle, children lost their lives, and a father goes looking for them. It's a universal situation, and everybody understands war. Everybody understands the grief of war, the sacrifice of war, and the loss that people who are left alive have to deal with.
We have the day they were killed. I know the area.
Yeah, we both know it, but why change everything for one father who can't stay put?
Because he is the only father who came looking.
It's been really amazing seeing what these guys went through, and really eye-opening, you know, and you really don't grasp the full magnitude of it until you see graphic images and talk about the numbers of the people that died, unfathomable figures. It's been really crazy stuff.
I was told my oldest son was taken prisoner.
So he's alive?
I don't know.
But you have hope.
Hope's a necessity where I come from.
The movie has this whole part of the war, and it's very hard, and there are a lot of atrocities and sadness. And there's this sunny part of the movie, romantic, alive, full of joy in these sad, terrible times. And my scenes are funny or naughty or full of care and love for other people. I just enjoy being that sunny character, which Aisha is, to Connor's life.
I measure a man by how much he loves his children, not by what the world has done to them.
Why so serious, Russell Crowe?
That's pretty good. Keep working on that.
Thank you.
All right, that movie is in theaters now, but when we come back, season 2 of Silicon Valley is on the review's chopping block.
I am sensing a general lack of vision. Your muffins smell like
Welcome back to EP Daily, one of the nerdiest shows ever.
Game of Thrones!
No, it's not Game of Thrones, but close. Yeah. It's actually Silicon Valley.
Ooh, HBO has started airing season 2.
So should you be watching?
I don't know.
Scott and I have the answer.
I don't know.
Not too long ago, Scott Jones and I reviewed the complete first season of Silicon Valley. That is on HBO now. We got a sneak peek of season 2. Well, it just started rolling out, and let me just say.
What is this voice you use? We've got a sneak peek of season 2. I'm just saying, something you might want to think about.
I'm sorry. Is something wrong?
No, this is all wrong. I am sensing a general lack of vision. Your muffins smell like so do your ideas.
All of our favorite characters are back, including Thomas Middleditch, who plays Richard. Now, Thomas Middleditch, that is a very funny name, and I couldn't help but think he sounds like a character in Harry Potter.
We will win this. Good. But we're gonna have to lawyer up.
There's one character that hasn't made a comeback, though, because he's not around anymore to actually be in the show.
Yeah, the actor himself, Christopher Evan Welch, is no longer with us. He plays Peter Gregory, or he played Peter Gregory,
Yes.
and you could kind of see that he wasn't well in the first season, and I wondered if he was okay, and now he's gone completely from the show. It is kind of a mournful beginning of the new season.
Yeah.
Things do feel like they could get a little dark, but then the show kind of keeps gravitating back towards the light again. You know, I mean, I love so many of the characters on the show. I mean, one person we didn't talk about when we talked about the Blu-rays a few weeks back was Martin Starr, who I've known, not personally, I wish. He's been like the nerd character in so many terrific shows over the years, and now he plays Guilfoyle on this show.
Did you just say you were the cool cousin? Yeah. Please explain.
All of these guys, I think they do a great job. I think Amanda Cruz is going to have a really strong season. She plays Monica in the show.
Yeah, she brings something different to the dynamic, of course, because she is a woman, but she's a woman with power, and she's also trying to help these guys out because she does feel for them. I love the whole idea of letting them down by dressing unattractive. I love that idea, and so she shows up in this fully beige outfit.
Let's not spoil too much. You gotta enjoy some things.
But there are some moments in the show that are like that just make you slap your knee because you're laughing so hard. But there are some moments that are slow as well. It's tough because I love that they're actually holding up a mirror to this world world that we don't know so well, but can imagine it would be like this.
Half mirror, half magnifying glass, and I think it's a world that we've all wanted to look deeper into. I mean, so much good stuff and so much terrible stuff has come out of Silicon Valley in the last 5-10 years, and it is really, like, as far as nerd culture, I mean, that's the hot spot. That's the heart of it all.
It's true, because just because you have one great idea or you are on top one day, you could be at the very bottom the next, just depending on how finances go or how many people believe in you or if somebody stole your idea. All of these terrible things are around and about to attack, which is why this TV show is filled with suspense, even though it's very minimal. But it's there.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what's going to happen to Pied Piper this season, or Richard, or Guilfoyle, or all of our good friends, and they do feel like friends, and I think that's my favorite part of finding a TV show, is the falling in love part. You know, and I feel like that's happened a little bit. I think Mike Judge has created another great show. He's had so many great shows in the past, and I don't know if this is a great show, but right now I'm on board. I'm all there, and I can't wait to see the rest of season 2.
Yeah, I want to know what kind of trouble these guys are going to get into and how they're going to get out of it.
The Winklevoss twins. Look at them. They're like 2 genetically enhanced Ken dolls. Do you know how much Bitcoin they're worth?
I'm definitely going to keep watching. I'm assuming you are too.
Yeah, what's your Weissman score for this?
My Weissman score? Oh, well, it must be the highest Weissman score ever. I'm going to give it an 8.
I'm going to give it an 8 as well.
Hey, Pied Piper still rules, people.
That sound means Harrison Ford is coming up on the show.
Oh, right. Well, not quite yet. We've got a review of Age of Adeline after this.
Blake Lively. Why did it have to be Blake Lively?
I think he means Snake.
No, I meant Blake Lively.
You look exactly like this old friend of mine.
EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by GameLock, makers of Dragon Mania Legends, which you can play for free right now.
Believe it or not, it is pocket time again, everybody. Today I'm taking a look at a game that doesn't sound like a real game. It's called Silly Sausage in Meatland. Yes, Silly Sausage in Meatland. Look it up in the App Store. You can find it. It's available for free. But you can also spend $1.99 in case you don't want to see any of the advertisements. You play the game as a little dog, I think, or maybe he's a sausage, or maybe he's one of these sausage-shaped dogs that can stretch like Plastic Man over great distances. And this is what you have to do, is spread him through these levels, stretching him from wall to wall. That's the only place he can stop, is when he hits a solid object. So you have to just keep sort of spider webbing him through all of these obstacles. There are jewels to collect along the way. There are checkpoints along the way as well, and as you get deeper and deeper into the game, there are more complicated obstacles for you to circumnavigate. Deeper into the game, things get pretty close to impossible. The challenge is really steep here. I mean, I could not get beyond level 30 without my fingers starting to get a little raw and a little sensitive and blistery. But the controls of the game are interesting because you have to just keep kind of swiping where you want your creature to go. now. And sometimes that's frustrating. The touchscreen, while it has come a long way since the early versions of the iPhone, still not quite as refined as I would like it to be. This is an interesting concept, very colorful world. Download this thing for free or spend the $1.99 and get the ad-free version. I'm going to give Silly Sausage in Meatland a 6 out of 10.
Silly Sausage in Meatland, eh, Jones? I get you, man. EP Daily is the only show on television to take you from Meatland to a movie review of Age of Adeline. Something to appreciate.
Ma'am, it says here you were born 1908. That makes you 45 years old.
That's right. As I'm getting older, I'm realizing that wrinkles do start showing up, and I also am thinking
Give me
about.
a break,
okay,
kid.
Just stop.
All
Just
right.
stop right now.
Okay.
We're talking about Age of Adeline, and we're talking about age as well because in this movie, Blake Lively's character does not age. Something crazy happens to her, which is narrated in the movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Something crazy happens to her where her system doesn't age anymore. She doesn't age at all. So she's had to do a lot of running in her life because there's no way she can explain this to people.
Yeah.
And she was under investigation, so she runs away. So she makes rules for herself that every 10 years she moves somewhere different.
Am I late? No more than usual. Happy birthday, Mama.
So she did have a daughter, and her daughter ages, but she does not. And there's trouble that comes with that, because how can someone really fall in love and give themselves to someone if you have to move every 10 years and you can't tell them that you don't age, you're gonna get older, but dude, I'm gonna stay the same.
You look exactly like this old friend of mine.
It's an interesting fantasy, and time and aging and all that stuff. It always can be an effective emotional hook for the viewer. And I feel like they've done a pretty good job with that here. I think that this movie really honors the truth of the moments quite well, and it does feel like there is a great deal of loss. I have to applaud Blake Lively. I think that she is a terrific performer. I really do. Even though she's come from maybe some cheesy TV shows or whatever, the stuff I've seen her in, she's always really delivered. I think that she's really solid.
She's honest, and she plays this character so honestly. I really believed that she believed in this character, and she was proud of what she was doing, and you see that, and it comes through on screen, and she has...
Well, and there's a timeless quality to the performance that she's giving as well. She becomes incredibly intelligent because she doesn't age. She never loses her wits. She never loses her sharpness, and she maintains this very formal way of speaking, and she always says hello to everyone, and it's a refreshing honesty and a refreshing take on the character as well. It's really nice to see someone that polite and loved by many different people just sort of be graceful and gracious to other people all the way through the film.
Yeah,
you know?
and it makes you wonder what it would be like if you grew up in the time where she really grew up, which is early 1900s. And so she took all that politeness, the way she was raised, with her along the way.
Thank you, but I'll manage.
It just reflects on the characters that she meets as well in this movie, and how everyone is so charmed by her because she really is so different. And then you just become completely charmed by her, and you want the best for her, but you feel all of her pain. You feel all of it because there is a lot of pain there. How can you lose so much?
Well, you're out of time, right? And that's the Captain America story as well. And I appreciated the way that they set this all up. They really are lifting from Paul Thomas Anderson and the synchronicity type of voiceover to kind of get us into the why this all happened, the pseudoscience that makes this possible. But it was kind of cool.
That was really cheesy.
It was a little, I mean, it's cheesy, but they got to explain it somehow.
They do have to explain it, it's true, but I just felt all those moments where, okay, is this really happening? Is there some guy actually narrating right now?
Well, you've got to suspend your disbelief for a little bit.
Sure, yeah, over-explaining. But then your boyfriend shows up.
Yeah, and that's where the movie really, I mean, honestly, he's the guy that I love the most in the film world. You know, it's Harrison Ford. And I couldn't wait to see him.
I know.
I was like, where is Harrison
Ford? Way through the movie, where's Harrison Ford? Where is he? Like,
but that's where the movie really just lifted off for me, because it really grounded the amount of time that has passed, because Harrison Ford plays a former suitor and someone that fell desperately, obsessively in love with Blake Lively.
The guy they cast to play young Harrison Ford was spot on.
Yeah, he looks like him, sounds like him.
Nailed it.
Yeah, he did his smirk.
Oh God, it was
I was waiting for them to figure out how to do the chin scar, but they don't do any of that. And also, Michelle Huisman, and I hope I'm saying that right, from Game of Thrones. He's got a standout role in the show right now. He is the love interest in this, and he's really charming as well. He does a really damn good job in the movie as well.
He is very charming and believable.
And underplayed. He's not so overtly romantic. He's not just like pulling flowers out of thin air or anything.
That's the key word in here, though, is romantic. This movie is romantic, and I walked away feeling filled with love and romance, and just thinking of that feeling you have when you're young and you see a fairy tale and you feel like maybe love really is like that.
Where you off to?
Someplace with better food. My apartment.
What are you going to give the movie?
It's 7.5.
7.5 for me, too.
I was on cloud 9 walking home after that one. Totally wonderstruck. LOVE. After the break, we're answering your Twitter questions.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Electric Playground. It is time for our Twitter question of the day, and this one is from our old friend Kyle Chenard, Mr. _Precision. Hello, Kyle.
How are you,
His
buddy?
question is for all three of us. Will all three of you ever shoot a review together?
Impossible. I mean, there's no way we can do it. Have you seen Roberto's ego? It's huge. It won't fit on screen with our giant egos either.
So nice. Yeah. No, we are doing a 3-person review because this movie warrants it. It's huge.
What are we doing it for?
The Avengers Age of Ultron.
So the three of us are going to get together?
Absolutely.
Oh, and
that will be on the show next Friday, but next week is a big week because it's Avengers week for us here. So keep it locked to the show and our website, epn.tv.
And Vic's right. Every day next week, we're going to have new looks at Age of Ultron, including a behind the scenes on Monday. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you on Monday.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox.
Are you even pulling? Are you on my team? Just represent, pull.
In real world time, at what point wouldn't government say, that's great, Avengers, thanks a lot? You don't really answer to anyone, right? You just bust up cities and then we're supposed to say thank you. I think that's the biggest innovation in Age of Ultron, is that we really start looking at it more in a real world view type situation, which to me always makes it more evocative and interesting.
Anybody remember when I carried a nuke through a wormhole?
No, it's never come up.
Save New York?
Never heard that.
Recall that? Age of Ultron, what Joss Whedon has done exceptionally well, I've never really seen it quite done like this before, is it really is a Swiss watch of character and action and stakes, and it's easily the best bad guy plot I've ever even read in a script.
How could you be worthy? You're all puppets, tangled in